Hey, this is a vlog in Lessons in Democracy, but this is also the time when my phone might not be smart enough to switch to the other storage device if it lasts too long. Oh, I heard a funny story I can incorporate here. Let's say a man and a woman with dementia are in a conversation, and they don't realize till about 25 minutes later they weren't in the same conversation, talk about the same thing, because there was an assumption, and they still talked and they still believed for a long time, but then they realize, right? Then they spend the next 10 minutes laughing when they realize, and they review all the things they said in relation to this other topic that they were really thinking they were in, and how hilarious that is. And that'd be great, right, to see that. They'd have so much fun in that 10 minutes more than, let's say, the 25 minutes they had before. Well, let's imagine also a philosopher's cafe, because I've mentioned many times before that I spent entire times in philosophers' cafes where people were having so much fun, they thought it was successful, but they don't realize till I make a comment near the end, let's say, or after, when there's like, we're having tea, that they weren't really in the same conversation. So, if I bring that up at some point halfway through a philosopher's cafe, instead of, near the end, would they also review everything they said and laugh and have fun and say, oh my God, we were totally off. We were so focused on the things we wanted to say to appear smart after, which is not even in the same conversation, that we didn't even participate in a philosopher's cafe. Like, they wouldn't appreciate it because they're incapable of having fun for the other 30 minutes laughing about their flaws. So in a way, people with dementia are more capable of enjoying conversation than the average. That's what HSD is like. I'm telling you, these PhD professors I'm talking to at faculties now about their programs, it's really, my God, reading and writing basic comprehension. Or just, philosophers' cafes. Our species thinking it can use language better than before, and it's so much worse than before. Let's have a class that graduates from high school, let's say, they're near the end, and put on, let's say, Casablanca, and then do a test evaluating for how they understood English, for example. You can tell a little bit what I'm talking about. Anyways, this is Lessons in Democracy. So again, HSD is in everything, right? It's in everything I talk about because it's a grand unification theory in the social sciences. It talks about how you have now been devolved to the point you can't solve your own problems. So do you know that sending tanks or being in a war and thinking and convincing your own people when you're convinced yourselves that you're defending democracy is ridiculous? Can I be honest with you and tell you who is the biggest threat to democracy? Democratic countries and their democratic politicians and their democratic citizens that vote. Because seriously, you should send tanks to the Trump buildings, the office of Santos. I'm sure he'll supply the soldiers with coffee and donuts if they get off his case a little bit. But really, who is a threat, the biggest threat to democracy is you guys not knowing what it is, how to do it efficiently. Democratic countries can self-destruct quite easily on their own. They really shouldn't be blaming other nations that might have, let's say, communism in their name, but employ the concept of democracy more, for example, than countries that are democratic but turn against each other and are so competitive and ignorant as politicians and as populations that they couldn't even use democracy to save their own lives. Come on.